So let me start the panel discussion, and we will have 2-3 questions at the end of the panel discussion. My first question to Ashok ji. Sir, if you can, we talked about the numbers. 1 trillion by 2040 is what we are looking at. What are the future opportunities you see, and how are you planning to encash on these opportunities going forward?
Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. Well, you know, the astrologers are the best people to answer your question. We are living in a global world. In 2019, we never realized that, COVID will come and, dramatic things happened in 2 years. The good part was that chemical industry was shining at that time. The automobile industry, the hotels or aircraft, air industry, all that suffered, but the chemical industry survived. And the one product came out in that time was Indian Chemical News. I remember during that time, Prashant contacted me and we had an online program, and this thing I've seen that, every day before I sleep I see your email, and not only I'm reading it, but I'm sharing with the key people so that even every student of our university knows what you are doing and what is coming out every day. Now after that COVID, we have seen the war, which we thought that in this 20s or 21, 22, there'll be no war. That's what we were thinking. But the war started, and we thought it would get over in 15 days, 20 days, but more than 17, 18 months now continuing. And this is the time when we are hit. Chemical industries hit badly, who are in export business. All of you will agree that. But luckily that our country is doing well. We are well placed, and we have good industries, good marketing. So the growth which we are planning, it will depend on what global factors will happen. We should keep it in mind that it is not only confined to Bharuch district or Gujarat or India, it is confined to the whole world. Anything can happen at any time. Keeping that in mind, everybody should plan what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. The first thing I think that, we don't have crude oil, we don't have a gas, we know that, and we have to take it from outside, and that things have become like a share market. So when we are doing business today, tomorrow when our product will come out, we don't know whether we are making profit or loss. That business is there. But the best part, we should all agree and see that we have a solar energy, or the sun is shining throughout the 365 days practically, except when it rains. If you go to other countries, you'll find that half of the year darkness. That's the best advantage we have, and we must take full advantage of the solar energy and see that all our energy cost is reduced significantly, and the whole world is talking now about hydrogen. Now, hydrogen production is not that difficult, but the energy cost is important. So we have to see that India takes maximum advantage of solar energy and be leaders on hydrogen. Technology is there, but technology can be done easily. The other advantage is, India has a strength of 140 billion people, Some people say negative point, some people say positive point, but I feel that positive point because we have so much people around. And there are two things which are the strength under that. One is, 140 billion people keep on eating food every day, and the Indians are very good in wasting that food. So whatever waste goes out, and I'm coming from the waste business also beside working with UPL, whatever waste we are producing, it goes to the dumps or it goes just like that. But now the things are streamlined, and if we focus on that, all your kitchen waste, what comes out from whole country, you can make biogas, biomethane from there. You can make hydrogen, you can make various chemicals today. And that's the strength India has, and India should focus on that, how to take advantage of 140 billion people and the waste we are producing and make chemicals or very useful products out of that. Another strength is 140 billion people means We have so many people, so many young people, and we can have a skilled people who can compete in the world. We have seen that when our IIT graduates go to, after spending so much in the country, they go abroad and they do shine. Now we have to focus on our engineers who can work in chemical industry, and we should see that people who are in rural areas, people who are poor, we should bring them and raise them to this level, because chemical industry is going to face challenge of who's going to work in the plants. Everybody wants to sit in AC offices or work on laptops. So let us utilize the advantage of the people who will work in India, and let's not work for bright people, work on average people. I'm telling you, in 90s, I went to USA to, we had taken technology to make trimethyl phosphide. One operator trained me. He was not, graduate. He was working 12 hours. He trained me in such a way, minute things, and said that if anything goes wrong, this is what you should do. And when I came back, we just followed that and pushed the button and the plant started with good quality material. My thumb rule is that, one person in US or UK is equivalent to around 4 Maharashtrians. And 1 Maharashtrian is equivalent to 4 Gujaratis. So one person sitting in the abroad, we have to employ 16 people here. We want helper wants another helper. So that's the way we work. So we have to optimize and see that with proper automation, mechanization and controls and skilled manpower, we should strengthen. So Prashant, I'm thinking we have a lot of plus points, and we can reach to moon. Now, how we reach to moon is a science. ISRO people have worked very well, supported by the industry people. The Godrej, Tata's, aeronautic companies, all industries, engineers have worked there, and one could predict that it will land at 6:04 p.m. on 23rd. It's not a joke, So Indians has a capability, so we should utilize, and I'm sure if there are no turmoils, no political problems, we should be able to do it. Thank you.
So after looking at opportunities, let me come to the challenge. And thank you, sir, for appreciating our hard work of Monday to Saturday, sending newsletters to you and bombarding you with our news on your email. But you are appreciating our effort and also forwarding it. That's very good sign for us. And it also put an onus on all of us in our team to make it better in terms of quality and also collate all the good news which is happening in the country. Also tell the people what's new that is happening. So thank you for the word of advice and the caution that we need to take moving forward. Our next is the challenges that we are talking about. And in terms of challenges, let me first ask Mr. Ajay Kumar Gupta ji, what are the future challenges that you anticipate with respect to the Indian chemical sector in achieving this growth, and how are you planning to minimize it in future? I am very thankful to him because initially he was reluctant and he has driven all the way from Baroda to reach here. But when I said that I am doing this event for the first time in Bharuch, he readily agreed to it. So once again, thank you, sir, for coming and blessing us and also encouraging all the young managers who are here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much. In fact, yesterday only 150 odd young engineers joined our company. We call it as, management trainees. So I have to go and again meet them today evenings. So I'm always here, Prashant, for anywhere I can provide my insights, my contribution to chemical industries. So coming on to challenges, I think Panjwani Saab has already shared the future is bright. In order to add one more line, which our chairman Raju Bhai of Aarti Industries, he keeps saying, this is the golden decade for chemical industries. There won't be a better time for chemical industries what it is now. And we all know the reasons for that. Now, challenges what Prashant is asking, and to respond on that, I think the biggest challenge for chemical industry would continue to remain on safety, safety and safety. Whether it is a process safety or it is a safety in general, I think we all understand the distinction between the process safety, which is, a low frequency but a high severity, and somehow this is happening post-COVID more, frequently all across the country as well as globally. So this I see as one of the biggest challenge, and fortunately we started investing on this in Aarti maybe around 8 years back, and we realized unless and until we set the safety right, nothing would move in manufacturing. And I mentioned you, I candidly tell you, all the leadership team, right from, bottom to top or top to bottom, we breathe in and day out. So it's just getting in our DNA. And the more you do, you will find the less it is. There won't be a stage where you can say, I keep saying even the word class is not enough for that. You need to scale it up. The other challenge which I think Panjwani Sahab he touched upon would be the management of the waste. And there even through some industry associations, through the government, we are into the process of providing that advocacy, a sort of chemical circularity, a theme where whatever we produce it as so-called the byproducts, earlier it was, now it is a waste. They have to be utilized there in the chemical industries, because we can't have, the mode of disposal as incineration or co-processing is one of the attractive way, but at least not the incineration in the landfill. The third what I see is a bigger challenge is because all the chemical industries, they are big jugglers of steam. Having understood, we have to do the separation. Whenever we do the separation, it is all through distillation columns or crystallizers, and it's a big juggler of steam where it is all produced through coal. So how do we get into carbon neutral? How do we get into decarbonization? Well, there are several ways, but it would always have a cost-benefit analysis in terms of the easiest and the low-hanging would be get into the solar power, the wind power, which Aarti as a company, we have got into 15% of the renewable sources, but there are several other techniques in order to mitigate this challenge. The other comes to getting the context from the seminar today is the cost. And I think there I see asset management, which we call it as heat exchangers, are the part of the asset management, again as one of a big challenge for that. And there are ways and means which can be done in a structured way to overcome this challenge. And over and above all these challenges would be, Prashant, the talent, which I see a bigger challenge for all the chemical industries, particularly in Dahej and Jagadia, because people, they keep swapping and keep changing the jobs very frequently. So this would be a big challenge. We have several plans which I can share with you, if time permits. But unless and until the people retention, the people motivation, the people engagement, that is taken to next level, we won't be accomplished 3 times, 4 times the growth what we are envisaging in the chemical sectors.
Thank you, sir. Now I come to the challenges part of it and ask our other 2 panelists, Mr. Rajesh Patil ji, Dr. Rajesh Patil ji, Complex Head, Dahej, Gujarat Alkalies and Chemicals, if he can throw some light on the challenges part of it. And then I would request Ashok ji, if he can add on.
Thank you, Prashant ji. Yes, there are many more challenges. You rightly said safety is important for us, and sustainability of the manpower is also important. At the same time, education part for the manpower is more important. To overcome this, we must have some strategic plan. So let us have, being a chemical industry, sometimes market is volatile. This is a big question to all and big problem to all. So we should not stuck on the problems, and we should not stuck to see market is not improving, so we don't take challenges. No, don't think in that direction. So always think whatever the strong points, you just elaborate the strong points. Educate the people, educate the staff, have a focus on them, because I have seen graduates coming from the universities, they don't know the industrial life. So first, whenever there is an introduction, just I am taking them as a, to introduce them, I am just advising them to have a discipline first. Because we must have a discipline. Discipline, safety, these aspects are more challenges now in industry, because nobody is telling them to guide or nobody is guiding them. Second challenge is sustainable operations. So frequent trippings must be avoided for the plant. So sustainable plant operations are more important. Third challenge is corrosion. We are in chemical industry. We should also see the neighbors, what they are producing and what is the impact on us. So we must avoid the corrosion to reduce our operating cost. So corrosion is, we must fix the, there is always, we must fix some budget, 3 to 5%, yeah, 5 to 7%, depending on individual's experience. But my experience is 3 to 5% we must fix the to resist the corrosions. For example, painting, plant maintenance. These are the challenges in industry which we are doing it and we are going to face it, but on sustainable basis we should come out from this. Third one is renewable energy is a more focus is going to get in India. We must focus on renewable energy to reduce to optimize our cost. One more point is this utilization of hydrogen, green ammonia. These are also important aspects where chemical industries needs to look for this. Fourth one is outsourcing. Fourth one is outsourcing of any material. Outsourcing of manpower is also an important aspect nowadays in our area, especially in Dahej. So these are the challenges which we are facing in chemical industry. I think we must decide some strategy for this. This is what I want to conclude finally.
Thank you, sir. Ashok ji, if you can add on the challenges part, if they have missed something.
Yeah, thank you. See, you said we are at around $200 million, right? 220, and by 2030, 25 we want to be 300, and then now one important point is that if you see the Gujarat or Bharuch district itself, we are already getting saturated. So where is the land? Where these plants will come? 3 times more, 2.5 times, and we are talking all across country. The sufficient land for chemical industries again is specific. It cannot be just anywhere. So as a country, as a top leadership of the country, and all senior people should sit down where these industry estates will come in future. And the industry estate is not like just providing land. Normally, when you go new things here, they'll call you on a red carpet and talk big things, but you need roads, you need water, you need the workers, you need education part where the people can stay, executives can take education, you need a hospital. All those things should be well planned today, right from today, so that whether in Gujarat or anywhere in India, the right type of industrial estates can come, particularly for chemical industry. Chemical industry can come on a private land in isolation is okay. But most of the time it should be a combined like industry estates, bigger industry estate with all infrastructures, for environment, safety, colony, where the education, everything should be properly planned, and that's the big challenge we all have. Today what problem we are talking of Dahej, person will go to Jagadia, or they, from one UPL will go to Aarti, Aarti say it will go to, GFL, and very soon, we are going to have about 20, 30 companies, senior companies going to sit here and discuss peacefully how to stop that problem. That's what we discussed on last Monday when I was meeting at Ajay's office at Aarti. So this is what we are looking for. The Dahej you have to pay, Prashant, almost double salary than Ankleshwar. There's another problem that, the villagers or the Jagadia mein, there's a problem of people come and say that, give me a contract. In Jagadia, the project cost is 20% more. Because of civil work and other things, we have to face that problem. So all those problems have to be understood if the chemical industry has to survive and to compete, because nobody will pay for Dahej extra or for Jagadia. So these are the challenges, Prashant. We have to, it has to be done at national level with a proper focus, and business means business. It cannot be just only 1 minute planning and then forget. It has to be continuous planning with full focus. Safety is important, environment is important, how to dispose of waste and how to not to create, Rajesh very well said that, my neighboring company can corrode my equipments, external. That's true, 100% true. We believe that, why scrub is HCl, let it go out, but we don't realize what is happening, Maybe many people cannot, do not know what to do with HCl. So they'll keep on doing it and it's happening today, That's a fact. We need a proper awareness on that.
So not only it harms the factories and the equipment, it also harms human beings. So that should be the approach whenever you are releasing such poisonous gases. So coming to the third point, and here we are now coming to the corrosion part of it. And the focus here is the cost of corrosion in overall operation and maintenance, and what are the steps taken for lowering this O&M cost in a chemical manufacturing setup. And I would request Mr. Pramod ji, Vice President Engineering, Gujarat Fluorochemicals, if he can dwell on this.
Yeah, good afternoon. It is now a very common concern in every industry, the cost of maintenance, the cost of operation, because the global problem in chemical industry is that our production as well as our distribution cost is coming high than the same chemical if we import from the other industries, from other countries. So how to plug the gap and how to reduce our cost is the main part now every industry is looking, and this can be done through only improving our operation as well as our maintenance strategy. If we see the cost of operation and maintenance in a chemical industry is approximately about 5% of their capital equipment cost. And in this operation and maintenance cost, approximately 40 to 50% cost is incurring to fight against corrosion, whether it is internal corrosion, it is external corrosion, it is corrosion of the structure, corrosion of the piping components, or corrosion of the heat exchangers and other equipment. So the best part to fight this corrosion is right from the design stage to our maintenance stage. Let us follow all the things rigorously and ensure quality over cost. In design stage, let us provide the right PDS to the designer. Then ask designer to select the best suitable metallurgy. Select the MOC according to our process, our corrosion problem of the fluid. Not only selecting the material, but selecting the right vendor, the sub-vendor, the manufacturing company, ensuring the right quality assurance procedure, ITP, can give us the product which we want. After getting the product, the erection, the installation also should be as per our best standard. And the most important, now the operation part. The operation should be as per the defined operating window. There is a defined operating window that the process should follow these norms. The operating parameters should be maintained within the defined window. And the last is our maintenance strategy. The maintenance strategy, we have a lot of maintenance strategies, preventive, predictive, but now the latest maintenance strategy is our prescriptive maintenance, in which we have a dedicated section in each and every industry who identify the problem and then suggest that these are the solution for this problem. So we should take all these 4 steps right from design to maintenance seriously, give more priority to cost, more priority to our quality rather than cost. Then only we can come over this problem of corrosion. And in long run, if we can avoid some unplanned downtime, unplanned stoppage of the plant, then the cost which we have incurred on these all 4 sections on quality will be negligible, will be really, really very negligible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I come to Mr. Rajesh Patil ji, and if you can talk about the corrosion part of it, your views, sir.
Yeah, I think previously I just mentioned the corrosion part. Corrosion part, yes, we must look for the corrosion, and previously I said we must look for the neighbors, and at the same time we must analyze the corrosion, and we must invent some new technologies to avoid the corrosion, and right selection of MOC is most important to overcome the corrosion. And at the same time, while changing the MOC, you must have a HAZOP, because you chemical engineer, you are chemical industries. Being a chemical industries, one must see the HAZOP analysis before going to the MOC, material of change, any material of change. And for the corrosion, yes, definitely we must have a data analysis. We must have a data analysis for corrosion in chemical industry, and this is going to increase corrosion in chemical industry, and to avoid the environmental damages on the basis of corrosion, we must avoid this. Also, to minimize the operation cost on the basis of corrosion. Corrosion is also an important aspect in chemical industry. And one more thing, we must see process condition, and accordingly have a right material at right place.
Thank you, sir. Ajay ji, your views on this?
Yeah. I think this is a very, very interesting topic. And let me share, like, we, Aarti as a company, we realized our assets which were 35 years old, we invested a huge amount of money first in restoration of those assets. Close to 250 crores we invested, acid plant restoration, our chlorobenzene plant restoration, and several of those plants for the restoration which were 35 years old. Now, coming on to this problem of corrosion, there are few of the things which I would like to share. One is what Mr. Patil said. I remember visiting GACL 20 years back. Sharmaji was a friend of mine. I used to visit there. One of the company beautifully has one of the best practice with respect to the painting. They do painting around the year. Start from one end, finish at another end, again start from another end. So the plant is spick and span always, and you follow the whole, the guideline related to the painting practices. And in fact, we replicated in our factories, our industries looking into GACL. The asset management cost, which is, I think Mr. Jain said 5%, we are trying to work below 4%. So our asset management cost of the gross block is around 200 crores. Now the major component, if you see in the asset management cost is, though every company would have their asset management guidelines, preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, those A1 to A7 notifications, typically what we have in an industry. But the crux lies, what I've seen, I think the speaker before was mentioning the life of the heat exchanger, 10 years, 6 months. I have seen coming to 6 hours. 6 घंटे में heat exchanger खत्म हो जाता है. And if it is properly operated, then it lasts for 10 years, 15 years. The same set of process condition, the same set of metallurgy. So though there is, all the engineers are there and we know PDS, MDS, आप सब लोग बना ही देंगे, उसमें कोई बड़ा खेल नहीं है. But how do we get into the operating windows and how do we operate the plant in order to see it is not only corroding that particular equipment, but the equipment, nearby. So I think those are few of the basic fundamentals. We have in Aarti, the leading corrosion experts like Varamuri Shastri ji, Yaqub Kapadia ji, and one of my friend here sitting, Imamuddin Gaur. These are all the people who are Pandit of, corrosion, and they are supporting us. Even with IIT Mumbai, we are there. So this is a subject, again, like safety, I say, the more you do, the less it is. It has to be continuously invented, reinvented.
Thank you, sir. After this, we move to the next question, and this is about difficulties in handling corrosion issues. What is the life cycle cost of a product vis-a-vis customized usage of a product / alloy for a given process for minimizing corrosion? And I would start with Mr. Rajesh Patil ji, then move to Ashok ji, and then to Ajay ji. So your views, Rajesh ji.
See, the important aspect for life cycle of corrosion, we must have some life of the equipment. We must predict the life of the equipment, and we must study the life cycle of the equipment. And if we want to really reduce the OPEX, operation cost and equipment cost and maintenance cost, this is one factor where we need to look for life cycle analysis of equipments. And if economics is support you to have a better technological equipments or better technological assets, then we must think for going ahead to have a sustainable plant operations and to have a productivity.
Ashok ji, your views, and then Ajay ji.
Well, corrosion, starts with C, and it is another word on C is cancer, So, once cancer comes, it is very difficult to diagnose or difficult to come out. So it's like that only. So that's what, life cycle, you have to calculate your maintenance cost, you have to, how much production loss you had. But the challenge is that, Rajesh, that specialty chemicals or, agrochemicals or pharma, our processes and products keep on changing, So at that time, we don't realize what will happen. And I just try to share 2 or 3 my experiences. The one on the structures, most of the chemicals plants are built by the mildly structures. And because of external corrosion, either from your factory or from external factories, you face that problem. You keep on painting. That's a good idea. But one day suddenly, the Prashant, it was almost 20 years ago, Jain, who now is current chairman, at that time he was very young, He just said that, every plant structure should be galvanized iron coating, No arguments. We said it will cost 50% more. Said that no, this is an order. No bullshit, And we started following that, and we're still doing it, and the experience is very good. After that, no headache structures are surviving. Second experience, multiple effect evaporators. It became a very fashion about 10 years ago. Every industry has to provide multiple evaporator, and we started facing that problem of every 2 months, 3 months tubes or, even after few days tubes failing. So we learned from that and we went for a coated titanium grade 2 thing, and then after that life has become very simple. The third experience, waste heat recovery boilers, we found that the tubes are failing and then you have to stop the whole thing, So there we learned from our processes, how to operate that. When it is shut down, whether you should have nitrogen blending, maybe you pass a lime slurry to coat it, or when you're operating, what process conditions should have temperatures and pressures. So that experience has taught us how to manage. So point which I'm saying that, ultimately, you have to find your own medicine, either yourself or take some external help from academicians or the manufacturers. Do a brainstorming, and it's a continuous process. You can find the right medicine. He said paracetamol, but paracetamol may not be always the right solution. For this corrosion particular case in particular industry, same formula may not work everywhere, so you have to find your own solution. And it can be done by proper technical people, supported by manufacturers, supported by the academicians, So that's quite possible, and if you follow that, the life will be easy. And when you are changing processes, products, at that time, same exercise should be done properly. Thank you.
Ajay ji, your views, sir.
I think Panjwani साहब ने बिल्कुल सही कहा है कि there has to be a customized approach for this, and we as a company we are getting into first time single chemistry multi-purpose, and I am envisaging much more challenges in handling multiple chemistry, single chemistry, multiple product in the same process. So the whole game is how do we understand it, integrity, nitty-gritty, and then we handle it. Because structure, I remember, 200 tons of the structure, 20 years old, replacing whole of the structure. Now the expectation is it should again last for next 20, 30 years. So you need to get into the best practices with respect to service, finish, painting and everything. But more than that, what is the source for, the corrosion? I have seen incidentally even a steam vents coming out near the structures, goes unseen and, corroding the structures. At the same time, even one of my experience I can share, like I keep saying you can't go for, diamond metallurgy everywhere. You will have to come on to the, MS or SS metallurgy. So the whole approach is like OPEX versus CAPEX. If you find a case, like changing every 2 years, even leaving a sacrificial life is a better proposition instead of going for an exotic metallurgy right in the, first stage itself. So it's a very, very deep subject, Prashant, and customized solutions and the problems and the solutions, those needs to be discussed and seen, industry-wise.
Thank you, sir. Now I come to what are the industry expectations from the equipment suppliers like Alleima with respect to lowering O&M cost and also lowering or minimizing corrosion in heat exchangers. And I would request Pramod ji, if you can throw some light on it, so that people who are in the room can come up with customized solutions to help meet your requirements.
So the industry expectation from the vendor is that first they should supply the material as per the specification given to them. The supply of material does not mean that the chemical composition should be as per their requirement, but there are other factors also, like their mechanical properties, their corrosion resistance. There may be some quality assurance plan and ITP while procurement of such type of material. So the expectation from industry, from these vendors, that what they commit at the time of taking the order, they should fulfill all these requirements when they manufacture and supply these products to the industry. In some cases, it has come to notice that there is some gap what they commit and what they provide. So the only expectation of an industry to the vendor is that they should provide the MOC with right specification, with right quality and in right preserve condition. And if there is some issue after installation, during operation, the after sales support is also one of the expectation of every industry that the vendor should provide immediately if there is any issue. Thank you.
Please, sir.
One more thing. Seeing is the best confidence. Go to the supplier end before selecting the supplier. Go to the supplier end, understand their processes, and evaluate what you can extract from the supplier, and that can be implemented at your best. Is the best solution for selecting the suppliers. And also one more thing, you just observe the response from the suppliers. If supplier is responding timely, so that it is helpful for us, and it is one type of good harmony, so that he will give us a technical supports and services we can predict.
Thank you. Now I come to Mr. Sunil. Yeah, please.
Ajay, few expectations to Alleima, and because this is a very, very important discussion. One is, I think they need to partner the industries in order to identify their problems and provide customized solutions. Because what happened typically, we continue upgrading the metallurgy, which I don't think that is an ultimate solution for that. So that is one fundamental expectation from Alleima. The another is the quality assurance. I think it has been touched upon at different stages of fabrication. I have seen it, even after the helium test, we couldn't detect the contamination, whereas changing the heat exchanger could rectify the problem of a contamination of a oil into the product. This is second. And third, I think one of again, a typical problem which I was dealing with a couple of months back. There are something beyond the guidelines, like ASTM and these codes, they won't have it. The tubes, whether they should be expanded or they should be seal welded, they say it is your choice, the user choice. So I was baffled, like, how do I choose it to take a decision on an expanded tube or a welded tube? So these are fundamentals. And the last would be on the cross-contamination part, like I have seen it, cooling water leaking from the coils or cooling water leaking from the glands, just corroding the SS3, 173 and 6 in no time. So it's 3-4 points where the expectation are high in order to realize that 3-time growth for the chemical industry. This would be very, very essential for Alleima to collaborate with the industries.
Sir, you have been, Sunilji, you have been listening to all your partners, I would say.
Yeah, very insightful.
No, let me pose you 2 more questions apart from what they have already posed to you. And one is, how is Alleima addressing the growth in the Indian chemical sector, the growth that we were talking about, or all the other panelists were talking about? What is your future plan to meet the growing demand of heat exchangers in the new upcoming areas? And the second question is, I'm also clubbing both of them together so that you can give a comprehensive answer. Solutions offered by you to reduce life cycle cost in the chemical sector, which everybody in the panel talked about. These are the 2 questions, and whatever the people have said, if you can meet their expectations so that you can get a good score moving forward.
Thank you. I think a lot of inputs there for me to take back. I do not want to sound like a superhero now and solve all the problems, because it's impossible practically. What we can say is that you heard in our initial presentation that we have loads of experience. We have learned over the years across the globe by working with various industries. Specialty chemical possibly for us is we are kind of trying to understand more, because a few important stakeholders, of course, we had been in touch with the industry, and these kind of programs are going to make us reach out to people, understand them, and work closely with the industry. Coming to the point that we talked about, the cost part of it, more often we look at foregone profit and opportunity to to, get the higher productivity from the equipment and efficiency. So I think those are the areas where the industry would eventually need to upgrade from where it is. And it is an ongoing process, as we keep developing new materials, new processes. I think industry would have to upgrade from where they are as a continuous development. And it will be our effort to all the time stay tuned to the industry need, to also bring in outside view, share our experiences, and help the industry. Like we have seen in the industry that we talked about, should I go for seamless or, welded kind of questions. I think we would always suggest better materials from our side. But it's also your call, because a lot of capital investment is definitely a challenge for those who are investing in. But we can always find a midway or path, but there are certain no compromise areas for us when we talk about, like the extrusion as a process from our side, where when the solidification of metal happens, the impurities gather at the center. So why you want to save that 20% material, rather you take it out and have a very clean metallurgy as far as possible. Like welded tubes can work in many applications, but there is a chance of failure that is around that welded tube. So an unplanned failure can always cost you much more than investing into a seamless tube. So these are the points to be discussed. Very rightly said on the panel that at the design stage, a lot of work needs to be done, and that's where exactly we come in. We work with a lot of licensors, process providers very closely, as Sudhindra mentioned, and also you would hear in the second part of the session that if you do things in the beginning right, you will end up getting a good possible output from it. Otherwise, it will be always a challenge of managing crisis during the operations. I guess everyone agrees to it to an extent here on a panel. Also, now coming to the point that what are the future challenges and what is Alleima doing here? So we have seen industry transform. We had been part of India since 1960, and we had been part of initial refineries in India, even initial fertilizer plants. You talk the sector like nuclear, talk the aerospace. We have been part of providing solutions in the tubular products. And over the years, we started building our capacities here, started manufacturing tubes in India without compromise. It's same global standard. Before we go to industry for supplies, there is a very stringent mechanism of qualifying our mill and processes internally through our R&D and application team. We first supply internally all the products. They get sold possibly in Europe, America, or even the Asian other countries. And then we go full throttle in the Indian market to supply. The reason is that when it goes through internal screening first, we get judged against internal benchmarks with various plants. And once you come up to a standard and qualified, I think then we are supposed to go in a commercialization of it. We had seen this India growth story possibly around, if I go back 6 years back or 7 years back, we had seen that India is poised to grow. We have a lot of inputs from global platforms or global, the consultants, as well as the local, our own industry connect gives us a lot of inputs. And we had realized that India next 10 years is going to grow with the CAGR in any sector you talk. There is a chance to grow by double digit for most of the sectors. Currently, India needs approximately 60-70,000 of tubes in general, and we are players around say 15,000 tubes we supply within this, out of which 50% is export and 50% is to the local market. Why export? To sustain our operations, cost, have a consistency on the loading on the plant. Many a time, some of the processes we may not have enough load here in India. So we ensure the ecosystem is survived for that time. And as the demand comes from Indian market, we offload or reduce the export side of it, because it is intra-group export what we do more often. So around 7 years back, we made a plan for India, and it is a 3-phase program that we did. The first phase we executed in 2020 beginning. We inaugurated capacity doubling in India for cold process tubes. That means finished tube for heat exchanger, mainly a heat exchanger line. And we installed something like 1,500 ton capacity extra in India, which today, 4 years down the line, I see coming to a full load situation. I mean, you can imagine the kind of market absorption and the kind of growth being appreciated by putting up the capacity. Second we did is that Surindra showed the hydraulic instrumentation tubing line. India did not have really below ½ inch a good manufacturing facility which can give you world-class tubes. We have inaugurated that mill this year in March, and now in India, for all CNG cars that you travel, most of them, 95% of them, would have Alleima tube fitted in it, from the gas cylinder going to the engine. I'm just giving you correlating, where we stand in that business. Aerospace, the hydraulic and hydraulic lines going in aerospace, in refineries and the process industry, the instrumentation lines that are there, all these lines need these tubes, but the volumes were less. We have installed the capacity today, thinking next 10 years to 15 years time and the growth that industry is going to get us. Also now in the month of November, we'll be further tripling our capacity in heat exchanger line. We know that the refining sector and the chemical sector is going to grow. Crude to chemical is going to be, India is going to be hub for all the processes in this area. And there will be demand from the industry. So first is capacity built up, that is in line, and our last phase will be completed at the end of this year. So we'll be fully equipped to meet the industry's demand from a volume point of view. Now comes the capability and competence. I think that is what I explained, internal benchmarking, and then we have processes to ensure that. Also typically the chemical sector, this is our experience, that if we have to make heat exchanger for a fertilizer, they are okay with 1 year to 1.5 year time. Petrochemical industry or refining industry would be okay for possibly 22 weeks. In chemical industry, we have seen very interesting challenge that comes, and you would agree, possibly all of you, that it would be 8 weeks to 14 weeks max. And more often, it is some major crisis, you want to quickly replace the equipment. And this is a typical problem where we are trying to step up our game to be in that position. So this is on a delivery side. And more often, if we have a good alliance with you, as on the panel we discussed that how you should choose a supplier, rather a partner, that possibly having engaged dialogue, having engaged commitments to each other, and then you could possibly further squeeze the whole thing and ensure that you get the best out of it. So here is the delivery side we are working. Now next, another challenge which we see is the metallurgy upgradation. The world's best practices will start coming in now. There will be challenges with the further advanced processes that you need to upgrade from possibly basic austenitic grades to higher austenitic and high nickel area. So since 2018 onwards, we've started developing complete nickel program in India. Now today, C276, C22, alloy 200, that is high nickel alloy for caustic soda kind of applications. Then special grades of Alleima like 2RE69 for fertilizer, 2RE10 grade for nitric acid application, SX for sulfuric acid application, very specific grades for specific applications. And these are internally qualified. These are internally now, and we are ready to supply to you from our local plant here in Mehsana. So there is gone those days where we would be telling you that, okay, I have to import it from Sweden. And so I think I can say that almost 85 to 90% of our program or customer needs can be taken care of here locally. So I hope I kind of given you a insight of what we are doing. But if there are any questions on that, I would possibly like to take?
Let me take the question from the other side.
Yeah.
And we will have two questions. The mic is out there. Please, if you can take another mic. So we will have two questions. We are running late by 15 minutes. So would request you to be short and precise.
Sure, sure. It was such a pleasure to listen to all decision makers of process plants. I'm representing a company which does a lot of failure investigation of process plant components. And my question to this August gathering is that over the years, earlier I used to receive 1 or 2 samples in a month. I am receiving 80 failure samples in a month. Now, is our industry is, every time I feel that these failures could have been avoided. Very simple things are not done in a right manner. Where we are going wrong and discussing this thing over and time and again in all forums is my small question.
So where are we going wrong in terms of failures and how we can improve on it?
Yes.
That's one. Another question.
Actually not my question. My request to Ajay Kumar Gupta sir. I am Ashok Jadhav, Managing Director, Excellent Infrastructure, working with your group last 10 years. There is a concept in your company, Aarti Group, it's a model plant concept. So please elaborate us so it can help to all peoples in this hall. Thank you.
Okay. Any one more question and then we will get the audience. So get the answers. I think everybody is hungry. So one is, as he rightly talked about, he's getting a lot of complaints and he wants to rectify that if he can minimize the problems that he's facing. So I think you are the best person to answer it, sir.
The simple answer is try and use Alleima products. So I think this can be answered by the people who are using and running the chemical plants more strongly. But my take is that there are two important factors where the product or substandard product can come in to the industry, which leads to the failure. Possibly one is that the price driven decision making sometimes, and also could be the availability constraint. These are the two areas, and I do not, as I said, I do not want to sound superhero. We also do, face failures, but we have an ability to analyze the failure. So if you could meet our team members during the break and possibly, understand what areas you want us to work. You do that. Yeah, okay.
So it can be, sir, it can be the reason that the vendor community and the user community are not collaborating together. So if you are from which industry? आप अपनी कंपनी का नाम बता दीजिए, शर्माइए मत.
I am from TCR Advanced Engineering Private Limited, and I have rate contract with almost everyone who are sitting on the panel.
So he is Mr. Paresh Haribasti.
So I can tell you, like I was seeing कि बाबा कितना सैंपल भेजा है last year TCR को, बहुत सैंपल जा रहा है. So
सर, तो हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे आपसे जानना है कि
Yeah.
ये छोटी-छोटी चीजें को कैसे अपन improve करें. वो मेरा एक, क्योंकि as a Indian, I am not comfortable in analyzing the same problems from different industries because it is a huge national wastage.
Sir, उसके लिए why don't you use our platform and write a column for us? We will publish it.
We will, sir.
Definitely, we will try to disseminate that information to all the users or all the people who read our newsletter.
I will, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
I will do my job. Let us everybody do our job, and I think we will try to minimize it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. One question from this part. Yeah, he was raising the hand. Lady, if you can go there. Jai, आगे बढ़िए.
Sir, myself Kishore. My question is basic question because everyone is telling that corrosion is a problem. But why is corrosion is problem is coming on the industries? That is important. So why we are not go for the closed system and develop the system so minimize the corrosion in the atmosphere? That is important. So
नहीं,
suppose
आपका सवाल क्या है?
minimize corrosion in the atmosphere. How to develop the closed system? That is a very basic root cause analysis.
Okay.
That is
Point-
important.
Point understood. We will not take any more questions, sir. Otherwise, we will miss our lunch.
So
Because
Pravin,
during the engineering stage, we have developed the- so minimize the corrosion.
Okay, okay. Sir, first of all, somebody was talking about model factory, so Ajay ji will respond to that, and then we will take these answers.
Yeah, response to the MPI, the Model Plant Initiative, it is nothing but, the TPM approach, which has been initiated with respect to 1S, 2S, and then Kaizen and the quality circle. So you enter a plant, you find it there is an owner for each and every equipment, each and every machine. Those are mentioned there, and those are made. I keep saying, Singapore is a beautiful country. If we can't make India Singapore, at least make our plant Singapore. So, that's the whole concept of TPI.
very well said.
And answer to the gentleman out there.
Yeah. So I think you said it right. I think I said it there. Irrespective of any maintenance practice, painting, anything, nothing would help unless and until the root cause is addressed. And the root cause address is something coming out. So it is loss on primary containment. Whatever is supposed to be there inside the pipe, inside the vessel, inside the column, it has to remain inside. So the basic, like in Aarti, we initiated this initiative on eliminate leakages, eliminate overflows, eliminate exposures. So unless and until we work on the fundamentals, corrosion would continue. So your point is absolutely valid. 90% of the energy should be on from where the source is coming in order to corrode the whole, environment, which is the external corrosion. Internal is a separate subject altogether. So your point is absolutely
Sunil Wankhede
right.
ji, your last thoughts, and then we wind up. Ajay, sir.
Just to add, the questions from both of you, that, the chemical industry is not only big industry, there is a medium scale, small scale, and today, you are saying two problems were coming. That time, the situation may be different. Today is a lot of competition, and the whole business is on cost cutting or cost competition. So maybe people may be taking, and the processes keep on changing because of, you want to go from one solvent to another or chemicals or everything. So it's quite possible that and the industry is also growing at the same time. The numbers are growing. So if you're getting 2 problems, it will go to 10 problems, it was increasing by 5 times. And things are changing, so maybe you're facing that problem, but share with us, I think we can analyze that. And having no corrosion is not possible. The zero corrosion is a dream, but we have to find the root cause, as Ajay says, and hit to the point where the problem is. One more, the expectations. Our first expectation is have a good lunch after this, which we are all waiting for. But I am already 73, 74, and my dream is to work for a younger generation, and that's the reason, we are started UP University of Sustainable Technology with the support of all industries, and we want to see that, our engineers are well equipped for the chemical industries around us, and many of them are already there. So my expectation is that, as I told you, join hands, give them exposure so that talk to students, talk to faculties, not only our university but all around, and see that those products which will come out, when they go to industries, they become knowledgeable about corrosion and other topics which you are expertise. Take them to your plants and show them the plants. We can provide vehicles. Only thing you have to give them tea and some lunch or something. But do that. Invest your time on younger generation, and that will help us in solving the problems what we are dreaming in 2040. Thank you.
Point well taken, sir.
So, a big round of applause for all our esteemed speakers.